Togozani, I am Pavadimu and I welcome you to my channel. Thank you so much for viewing my video. Today I'll be talking about spiritual calling. What happens to those that are called to do the spiritual work? Because with the spiritual awakening, that is something that we go through. That is the explanation I even gave in the previous video I did, that we are all at the airport. The different thing is the flights we take and to the destinations we are going. So that is the same thing when it comes to a calling. So now you went through the spiritual awakening. Yes, the symptoms, the phases, and all these are similar to someone who is not called to do a spiritual work, but what differs is the flight you're going to take, the destination you are headed to, because being called to do spiritual work is very deep. Spiritual work comes with a lot of sacrifice. You need to know that once igama lakho, okay, let me give you this picture so you can understand where I'm going. There is a list of all of us, right? And it's like etlasini whenever they call people, Paul, present, Batman, present. That is the same thing that goes on in the spiritual realm. And if you have been called to do spiritual work, you are like living on borrowed time, because what I mean by that is that anytime your name can be called. You might be going through the spiritual awakening, Ganti, it is your last awakening before your calling, So now what happens is that through the awakening, your senses are heightened and whatever the case might be, and then your name is called. And what happens automatically when your name is called? The button is pressed and then your life comes to a halt. So now, with these awakenings you keep on getting, it is the snooze button, like I was explaining. But gufigilanga anyone whereby they press that red button, and with that button your life becomes on hold. So now what happens is that you literally die, and what happens is that you separate from your being, from who you are, and you feel out of place, and you feel lost, and you feel a hole in your spirit. You feel all these different things. You feel as if you don't belong. You feel like the world doesn't understand you. A lot of things that you go through as a person. You lose your life. You lose people around you. You lose everything that has ever made sense to your existence, because in the spiritual realm, amadozagini are like, no, when are you a part of the living process, but now you need to get in line and get in connection with your real self. That is when now you are called. You are being called so that you can go train. Basically, you can go to exile. Let me give it like that, because just like in any other, for example, in the military or being a policeman or woman, the training is very hard, because they are training you good. You're going to be dealing with people that are, a lot of things. You need to be able to deal with certain things, fight certain battles. So the training around all of these things is not easy. So that is why you feel some people are contradicting Ubizolabo. It's because they fear the training part. You understand? It is like waiting to go into exile. And it is a lot, because you take that moment to hibernate, because you are like in a spiritual, we soldier. So you cannot fight this battle ungena grenade, ungena mabullet, ungena bomb, ungena uniform, ungena badge, without your name saying, you did the whole run. So you basically need to go through exile for you to come back and be able to assist, those your fellow, beings, abaphilayo la emhlabeni, to redirect them should they need help, because it's like you protect, you serve the people, it is a calling. And what happens is that your life is never the same, because once you go through exile, once you come back, you need to understand that the purpose is bigger than just you. You're not just protecting or living for your family, but there's a lot of things, there's a lot of people that are going to come in contact with you that need your help, that need your guidance, that you need to protect, and all these other things. So we are all sent to our different posts, to go do the work there, because that is why we are called for. Because remember, Idlozi, as much as we always speak about Idlozi, needs amasoja, which is us, to do the work lime slabbing, to walk on the ground. Because isn't it, people that are going through the awakening, 80% or 90% of them don't listen to Amadlozi, or don't necessarily hear Idlozi, or see, or rather understand Idlozi. So now, to be the middleman, to breach the gap between the living and those of the spirit, that is why there are those that do the spiritual work. So a calling is very destructive, because even through the process, of receiving your calling, you can even lose your life, because some people's spirits go into so much shock that you find yourself you suicidal. You find so many things going on with you. Some even literally lose their life. Some other lose their minds, whereby what happens is that you find that you're already, your spirit is, ready for exile, but you trapped. And what happens? You lose your mind. Then who's about to and all these other things. Because trust me, there's a lot of things that's going on in the spiritual realm that we need to understand. So I'm here to teach you and make you understand better what goes on behind the scenes. Because imagine if the world had, let's say, there were being a soldier. Imagine how many things were gonna go out of line. So we need all these people. That's why there's traffic officers, there's police, soldier, and all these other things. That is the same thing in the spiritual realm. That is the same thing, because we are there to redirect the community, to reconcile the community to their true selves, to help and heal. That is why we call ourselves healers. So when you receive a calling, it is going to break you. And you need to understand that it is part of the process, because you are not of this world. Uzela emhlabeni with an assignment. Literally, when you go to exile, you get given the file of all the people that you need to come across, of all the people that you need to help. And if you come back from exile and you still feel that thing of unfulfillment or not doing the right things, it probably, there's something wrong in your spiritual life. There's something you need to fix, because that are waiting for you to assist them. But once you start doing the work, the load lessens. So now it becomes tricky when people are sent to exile and they're not supposed to be there. That is why not everyone survives exile, right? I'm using the term exile, but let me just come. Not everyone survives Uktasa, and not everyone should go for Uktasa. It is only those that, because you are built with the mentality of, I'm going to do the work. And once you come back, it becomes so, organic. You don't even have to be forced. You know that this is your work. You know that this is things that you have to do. But now, the problem is that there are people that are sent to exile and they come back and they try, be a baker and a soldier at the same time. And that tends to contradict with your whole purpose, because remember, you are here to serve and protect the people. Yes, someone might say, Uguti, I'm not here to look after people, but that is the whole point. That is why we are here. We are here to redirect people to their true selves and help navigate in whatever they're doing. And with every spiritual growth, with every spiritual level, so do all of us, because that's why the whole notion of every now and then refreshers course so that now you are able to protect and serve the people better, because this is spiritual work. Spiritual work is demanding. It's mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually taxing. And that is why I'm saying not everyone is called, because you are chosen and assigned to do this work. Because I want to get people's mentality to switch up a bit and be open-minded to understand that kunzima kule mpilo esikuyo. Yes, we look beautiful because we are beautiful people, and you are beautiful people, and we are all beautiful people. But when it comes to the work, it is hard, because people literally, are sent in your path for them to receive help, and you need to be able to help them, because that is your job. If you cannot help, it won't make you sleep at night. You get dreams, because now remember, you are the middleman. Those sometimes connect with you so that you can help them, sometimes because they don't listen, and what should the Amajozobo do? They start with your ancestors by your bambi meeting, which no bestella are connected at least, type saying, just so that Agwa's good time season, because she's losing the way. And you find yourself watching my videos, because I always say life is spiritual, and you're not watching this by mistake. It's a validation that you need in your life, So now there's always needs to be a balance, because there cannot be an overpopulation yamasoja and an overpopulation yabantu. It always needs to be in balance, so that we are also able to control the numbers and understand what is going on and what we need to do, with our work. So now there's a lot of confusion. You find that abantu that are not meant to be in a certain thing, for example, even with your training, right? With Ever Exile, maybe we poisa, maybe you're a traffic officer, maybe you're a security guard, because at the end of the day, you are here to what? To protect and to serve. You understand that? I'm just giving you this so you can understand better and come back and heal. And within all these things, there are different things amongst them. You find that there are people that deal with certain things. There are soldiers that teach other soldiers, right? There are soldiers that heal other soldiers. It's a lot of things within a lot of things. That's why I need to even now Dr. Abafan. That is the same thing with our spirituality. Our gifts are not the same. How your training in exile is gonna work, it is in line with your gift. So the calling comes for us who do the spiritual work. And that is why you find with some people are stuck with the notion of I was not necessarily shown or whatever. Sometimes it's not a matter of being shown. Your path will be redirected where you need to go. And trust me, when it's time, it is time, and you know that now meling tatintozam ngihambe ngiyahlupheka, so that I can come back stronger and well equipped, strong enough to deal with whatever I deal with. You understand that? To be able to help people, win whatever they need to win. So I just want us to have an open-mindedness, especially when it comes to spiritual things, and understand ukuthi calling ibhlungu. You literally know that impilo yakho, what you know that was your life, comes to a halt, an end, and now you need to know that I'm serving my purpose. I don't know if I'm making sense to someone. Yes, that's why some people will say we are lonely. Imagine trying to be a soldier, right? And balancing the fact that you're a mom and you're a wife and all these things. It's gonna conflict. And sometimes some soldiers, because whatever, prefer you to be alone, because there's so much work and so it's a lot of things that we are going through as spiritual people. Now my informants our family. So that's how you need to look at lendlela lena calling khona. So you find people ningahalela go by soldier. I honestly, if I could trade places, but I can't. You understand that? But ukhalela go by soldier, it's very painful. I always ask myself. People are always quick to say by the calling. I ask yourself. So now, do you take what is there? Because that is why you find there's so many things that are happening prematurely because of people get lost in the awakening. Once we are able to understand that, you get to see umuntu on because once on a calling uyagula, you become sick biza patient because you need to get admitted in the hospital first because before uzofika exile kune waiting room lapho la uzolashwa khona different doctors or whichever doctor you are seeing or whatever the case might be, and then the doctor is going to give a diagnosis ukuthi oh this is what's bothering you, then hamba uyo trainer emkalazenki, or perhaps hamba uyo trainer guphi emkalankukhu. It's always about that. But at the end of the day, sonke siyamaqabane, working together for the betterment of our healing. So now, when people come back and do post their training or their exile, it is definitely up to Bona, because now what happens is that you cannot go the whole mile and come back the same. You cannot come back the same. That's what I always say. You understand? So it's one of the things that we need to understand, that we are there to do the spiritual work. And within our work, there's a lot of things to do. That is why sihluka even in our gifts, because that's why ngigupa the analogy of amapoisa, traffic officers, security. What if I'm not saying anyone is lesser of the other, but I'm trying to show you that we are different with the work we do. And even within, they're different. Maybe abanye, they're doing the admin, we poisa, but they're doing the admin, and they can, you know what? let me do this thing esingenzwe sona, maybe kumele uhambe uyobona ucolonel ozokwazi it's that's how the spiritual, universe was made to work, because we all contain our spiritual powers, and what needs to happen is that we work together hand in hand to heal the people, to reconnect, because the main purpose of a healer is to reconcile abantu. That is why magli wendlini, sibiza amaphoyisa. You come there as iphoyisa uzolungisa ekhaya, not kuthi uma ufika lapho ukhipha isibhamu nawe unikeza umuntu sathi mdubule. You don't do that. But once certain spiritual maturity develops in you, you get to understand ukuthi, what, this is what you do, because you saying to your calling, I can't do this, or I'm not ready, trust me, abogogo basindwa ibhamu zakho, basindwa amabhullet akho, balokhu bakubonisa bathi nazi into zakho, and all of these, and you're like, I'll see it. And what happens in impilo yakho? You're living a life that is non-existent. Anyeke into yakho ilunga, ayikho, trust me, because edlozini, or rather in the spiritual realm, impilo yakho iku full stop. Like kuyafana nokuthi they are holding a memorial service ngawe and you're not aware. So that's why ngithi uvuma ukufa. That is why bathi uvuma ukufa. You literally have to be reborn again for a new self. That is why siba namagama masha. I cannot come back and just be sis Mpho. I come back as ugogo Mpho, because now I've earned lawa my stars. I've earned the right for you to call me that. I've earned the right for you to call me Unkomi Ahlaba, because I walked the mile. So that's why it's ikhwama neindlela zabantu esibizwa ngazo as funny, and idlozi lakho lizokuhambisa la lihambe khona, because this is a passing on of the baton. You understand that? So how the gift unfolds and how whichever exile you are led to, it will be the desires of idlozi. But now the problem is that people don't want to listen to amadlozi. You want to dictate, because being a traffic officer seems more appealing because I cannot deal with being isoja, but it's one of those things that are there. Sometimes it is contradictory, and within the training or the academy of whatever division you've been sent into, there are people that are there because bathanda izinto, not necessarily that they were called, or sometimes the diagnosis that are wrongly given. So that is why we are here, to educate you, to know that was I built for exile? I don't think so. Was I built for all these things? I don't think so. So now there's nothing nice about all of these things that are going, because you don't have that is why they cut you off from everything. That is why calling abanye, you even stop working, you go into divorce, you lose your friends, you lose everything, because literally you're cutting ties with everything that says you are a human existing la emhlabeni, and now you walk with your entourage. Feels good. Now you're allowed to walk with your interests, because there's no system that is tying you down. Your beliefs are open. Your spirituality is open. It's freedom. So you are able to connect and link yourself better to your people, and you're able to access those lako better. Go back to my video of the difference between Idlozi and Tonga, and you understand the whole point of us being there. You are able to give back the feedback. Our work is beautiful, but it is demanding. It is demanding, and it's a commitment. That is why also Tolaguts Omunyo, that's why sometimes the systems of this world mean nothing to Amadlozi. So that is why you find good because the army of men needs to be built up. So it's one of those things that are there that we need to understand, and because it will blacklist you from life. It'll blacklist you from everything. You understand? So that you can vibrate higher and vibrate to your bigger self. So don't look at yourself as a black sheep if you are watching this video. Know that Mina, I'm just here to serve my purpose, and I'm here to do the work. And once you look at it like that, that's why I always say embracing your gift comes with a lot of pride and comes with a lot of thing that is going to take from you, because it wasn't easy. Me sitting down with myself and be like, girl, this is what you're gonna be doing for the rest of your life. It was a lot of decisions that I had to make, and I had to understand there's certain sacrifices. I can't do things my peers are doing, because yes, they are allowed, but I can't, because there's so that bind me. Oaths that I made, I took, and I was like, there's certain things I can't do, because at the end of the day, It's a lot. It's a lot. So spiritual calling is very painful. It is very hard. And if you're gonna make it the whole way through the exile, do the right things and complete whatever you need to come back and do the work. Because trust me, I always say you cannot go to exile and say, "Won't Lisa, you came back. So sindo I'm a bullet neighbor. I'm just walking around with all of that. Bosayapi." That's my question. Bosayapi. So now that's, I think, what a lot of conflict is going on with our people. But I hope this video will shed some light to someone, and at least you can understand, the small minutes or the few minutes I hold of these sessions of trying to teach you that you can be more open-minded as into what goes on in the spiritual world. So be glad that there's still people that are being called, so that your existence can be guarded or secured or protected, so that kungalahlekelwa i-connection between wena and Idlozi. Remember, we come from a phase whereby it was regarded as a demon. I understand that. So now we are here to reconnect and recollect all these things to help people understand their true purposes. And if you know what Idlozi wants from you, know that, oh, Idlozi like was saying, do this, you are supported. No, go do this, you are supported. Go study this. No, you are supported, because that is what Idlozi like wants, so that you can live and understand the type of person you are. Even that's why, even with this thing of reincarnation exists a lot with us, people that that is why sivugwa that is why sivugwa amadlozi. We have an out-of-body experience. That is why, even I was going back, I was talking about reincarnation, that it happens because umsebenzi sometimes awupheli, and we come back and rectify and help those taking on the baton ukuthi no kudutshulwa kanje kwenza like it's a lot. It's a lot that is going on, just that we're choosing to see with the physical eye. We're choosing to see with the physical eye. So be blessed if you cross paths with someone that has chosen to do spiritual work, and understand and be kind to them, and understand that it is too much. It is too much. That sometimes you always need to take care of your mental health, because if you don't do all the right things, every now and then you're gonna get lost and sucked in the work that you do. And sometimes that is why we don't even have lives. You try to make a life, but there's no life, because you're sucked in with the work you do. And it's okay. I've come to terms and I've stated that this is my life and I'm happy. If every day I'm gonna be downloading data like this, then keep it coming. Keep it coming. As long as you're still gonna keep me glowing, keep it coming. Keep it coming. So it's one of the things so it's a non-negotiable contract. It's a non-negotiable contract, because once your people push that button, trust me, you don't have a time to negotiate. So if you know that you're thinking you are having a calling and you're still wearing eyelashes and weaves and you're still able to sit with your feet up and all, honey, you're just going through an awakening. Those with the calling are literally, some are literally in their sick beds. Some, are at the point of death. Some, it's a lot of things that are going on. And that's why you find Guti 80% of the time, abantu, when they go to a bama viti nami ngambe ngiyi-viti because I lost everything that I thought made me worse. My sight, guys, yeah, it was just a lot. So it's one of those things that are going on. So I'll do a part 2 of the spiritual calling and spiritual awakening, because there's so much to talk about. So I can only do so much when I fit in a certain video. But thank you so much for choosing to view my video and coming to visit my channel. Please like, subscribe if you still haven't. And I appreciate all your comments. I am Pawadimu, the advocate of Idlozi. Thokozani.